All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another match in the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past Randomizer Spring Tournament. Tonight we have our race between Gonzspor and gameguy888.
I'm very excited about this race. How are you doing?
Good. I think this will be a fun one. It's always entertaining to see what the weapon Uncle decides to give us is. What do you think it'll be?
I'm always rooting for Hammer. I'm a big fan of Hammer.
A nice one to get early, so you only need a single item for Dark World access at that point, beyond the Moon Pearl, of course. Speaking of Hammer, it's already time to smash stuff.
I think Hammer is by far the best weapon you can get here.
It's definitely the most reliable and consistent. You don't have to worry about ammunition, you don't have to worry about magic. It's just run around and hit stuff. The hitbox sometimes leaves a little bit to be desired, but...
But, yeah, I mean, you get used to the Hammer using it. Gameguy looks like he's killing enemies as he goes on, looking for that bomb drop, which is so useful early game.
It's really unfortunate when one of the runners has to leave escape without getting that bomb drop, because it just adds a lot of time to come back. Unless they manage to grab it as part of the revisit to the graveyard anyways with Titans and Boots.
I know in earlier versions of the randomizer, you actually couldn't come back to check that location. You had to get it either the first pass or had to get the gloves. I'm glad they fixed that, or rather changed that.
That'd be really, really unfortunate, yeah.
Looks like gameguy did get a bomb drop, which is going to be very fortunate for him.
That's one of two, then. Also have one of the supreme safety items, the powder.
Very, very useful. Also, getting it early while already having the boots means that they're going to be able to knock out 2 fetch quests on the way to through Kakariko.
Oh yeah, they can grab the magic bat while they're there, and then just run straight down to Grove for the shovel.
Very, very, like, if I am going to find these fetch quest items, this is when I want to find it. Right before going to Kakariko. Or in Kakariko, for that matter.
With a bit of luck, they'll also pick up the gloves, so they can just run straight from Haunted Grove down to the dam itself without actually having to go up and around near the house.
So one thing that was really popular during the Key Sanity tournament that is just not popular for, I think, pretty good reason, is dipping into Houlihan. I do know that very, very often you would start your run by getting that extra 225 rupees in the Houlihan room before doing really anything else.
I haven't actually seen much of that in, like, just from what I've been watching in the standard tournament, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just interesting, the difference in strategy from the 2 formats.
Oh yeah, I can kind of understand why. With more keys just flowing around early in Key Sanity, there's a chance that where you normally get rupees, it's just all the rupees are in dungeons now.
Yep. Guns looks like they are now doing the oh my goodness, where are bombs strat.
Getting plenty of rupees while doing it, though, so... These bomb drops just don't want to happen for Gonzspor.
It's very unfortunate. It can... Honestly, this does waste some time having to come back here later when you actually have bombs. However, it might waste less time than Gonz is actually taking, like, farming for this bomb.
At this point, I think so. Fortunately, nothing that's going to give a huge advantage early game. It's just capacity and a green rupee.
And also, fortunately, Gonz did get a lot of money from this. They're going to be going into Kakariko with a full 50 or more than Game Guy has, unless there's just a money cache somewhere waiting for them.
What they lack in bombs here, they'll be able to buy in Kakariko and not have to hope to pick them up out of a chest. As it sits, Game Guy's gonna have to find a source of more bombs or rupees just to check well, chicken coop, blind hut.
I think it's I think the tree pulls probably has a pretty good chance of having either rupees or bombs. Looks like it was the tier 2 tree pull probably, based on what I've seen from what they killed. If you don't know how the tree pull works, it has 3 tiers. Tier 1 is having killed 3 or fewer enemies prior to pulling the tree. Save and quit remembers. Tier 2 is having killed at least 4 enemies prior to pulling the tree, but having taken at least 1 half heart of damage while doing so. And tier, whatever the last one is, 3. Tier 3 is having killed 4 enemies taking no damage. Game Guy deciding against sitting with the bush crab to get money. That's an interesting choice. They did get bombs, but they're not going to be able to pay the bottle vendor as of right now.
I think they're comfortable that they're going to find enough rupees for the merchant. It's usually a safe bet. It's not guaranteed by any means, but
it is a risk, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, it absolutely is, and it's unfortunate when it happens.
Looks like Gonzspor got a bomb drop shortly after leaving escape, which is completely unfortunate.
This is a game taunting you at that point.
Indeed.
Early lamp, so we're not going to be seeing any dark room, or not seeing any dark rooms.
That's unfortunate. So I think it's about a 50-50 bet whether or not Aga is going to be required. We are a sword away from Aga and gloves away from not Aga.
I know everybody in chat probably wants Aghanim to happen.
I don't know. If I'm these runners, I am checking a lot of item locations, almost all of them, before dipping into Aga when I find that sword.
I'm not going to have Silverless either. When it comes to Aghanim seeds, I do personally prefer it if it's just an item I can see in the Lumberjack cave.
I completely missed. Did either of our runners actually check Lumberjack Cave?
It was just a red rupee this time.
Hmm.
Speaking of red rupees, as is usual, they're finding them everywhere.
I mean, there's 28 of them. It is the most populated item in the game. So Game Guy having to come and buy bombs, I do not believe he actually bought the bottle from the bottle vendor.
He stopped by and picked it up.
Do you remember what it was?
The same thing we were just talking about a moment ago.
Not that it matters. Of course, there's a rupee cache, completely invalidating any money problems he could have at the beginning of the game.
Blue mail in the library.
Very unlikely they're going to be coming back for that. And we have our first map check. That's a red pendant on Eastern Palace, and the other two are crystals.
It makes Eastern a little bit less attractive, but it's still a good starting location just because of the number of items. If you've got bombs, you can check up to 6 in the immediate vicinity, counting Shalars.
I actually disagree. I think this makes Eastern Palace an even more attractive location early, because you don't necessarily have to go back for it.
I guess that's true, yeah. Unless it's the unfortunate case of Armos holding an item you absolutely need.
It looks like neither of our runners are turning in either the shovel or the powder while they're in the area.
They also picked up a bottle from the race game, so Game Guy didn't turn that in, or run back and turn that in either.
Gun still has time to do so.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take at least a detour to check one or more of them.
So there went the shovel. He might go back for it. He might want to do bottle and then powder and then shovel. It might be faster that way. And we have a hook shot, which is an omen, I would call it. It's not definitely Aga, but getting the hook shot really screams that maybe you should be going to Aghanim soon.
In either case, it's a fantastic item to have, especially for Mini Moldorm Cave here.
Indeed.
I would much rather hookshot these than try to hammer them.
Let's check fetch quest number 1. What do we have? And Aga is dead. In Mini Moldorm Cave, we have our glove.
They are probably very relieved at that.
That was a pretty significant bait from this this seed, giving them 2 out of 3 of the items that scream Aga.
And a little bit of extra safety in that cave as well. We picked up the blue mail, so they're almost definitely not going to go back to the library at all now.
Yeah, I can't imagine going back for the red bell at this point. And all of the fetch quests providing only peace of mind, which, while useful, is not going to help you finish the game.
It's always unfortunate when fetch quests turn out and it's like, no, you get nothing. It's like, ah.
The upside is that Gonzspor is never going to have to go back for those. It is possible to route both of them in depending on the mirror location and what our runners are able to get.
Yeah, if they do get the mirror at a reasonable point, I wouldn't be surprised if Game Guy just loops it all into one large batch of checks. Progressive items are on, yes. I think every tournament has used progressive items since, what, like spring last year?
Yeah, that's when they started using progressive items, if I recall correctly.
Alright, fake flippers. Not to Hobo, though. He's gonna head up here and check this cave.
Yep. Jesus walk. Oh.
Or Zora's gonna snipe him.
Like an unfortunate death. It's very unlikely he's going to go back for that. I would imagine he'd be heading up Death Mountain at this point. He has all of Light World Death Mountain all the way up to Hera available to him, and Hera is a crystal here.
Yeah, I think that's what he's gonna do. It's just too good a place to head to at the moment.
Doesn't hurt that his first pass through Hyrule netted him a full 4 heart containers. Very healthy seed so far.
Yeah, with the blue mail and that much health, they're probably not going to have too many issues with combat in general. Old man letting us carry more bombs.
Gonzspor going down, and maybe we'll see what Game Guy missed out on by not succeeding in walking on water there.
Gonzspor also has a full set of rupees for King Zora at this point. When Game Guy went up there, he was still short 100, so...
Yep, and we have Kane in the Spectacle Rock Cave.
The most popular item.
If Gonzspor wants to spend a bomb, they can use a bomb to get that fake flipper, but it looks like they're more interested in just... they got it. Nothing on the island, and looks like they're going to be going over to talk to a hobo about a bottle.
Well, it kind of looks like a bottle. He might be keeping something in the bottle.
Indeed.
Which is really confusing when he gives you something, you know, large, and it's like, how did you fit that in there? Just a piece of heart, though.
Oh. Oh, okay. Sorry, that it looked like Gonzspor was facing down when they jumped off, which most of the time will glitch you off the screen, but it looks like they weren't glitched at all, so that's good for them.
You can hit that jump by facing down and pushing against a pretty narrow area. It's not the most common way people do it, but it's... Oh no. Gonzspor. Just sneaking into that cave.
Just pixels off of getting hit by that.
Boots and Fire Rod for Game Guy, and we're not going to see what that other chest was for Gonzspor.
Nope, not at all. We'll just have to wait for Gonzspor to
But yes, Game Guy's definitely appreciating what Death Mountain is giving him so far. Can Zora make up for that?
We can only hope.
Nope. So Gonzspor, at least fortunately, knows that he doesn't have to go back there later, but unfortunately didn't actually get anything for his time at the moment.
Might not have gotten anything for his time. We really do not know what he got from that second chest in Waterfall. Looks like we just got a pause though, and I didn't really see anything super important there.
Got an ice rod from Game Guy though.
And we got a map check. It looks like green pendant is Skullwoods. We have another pendant in Turtle Rock, Thieves Town. And I did not catch what the red crystal was. That is good news for Gonzspor, finally. They got the Titan's Mitts out of Hype Cave, and Game Guy, unfortunately, got Titan's Mitts late. It looks like Ice Palaces are other red pendant. Ice Palace and Mire are red pendants. But that means that when Gonzspor goes north to Death Mountain, they're going to be able to clear out all of it.
We'll save a little bit of time there, being able to do it in one loop. If Game Guy's lucky though, he won't need to head back up there until he starts clearing dungeons.
I don't really know why Game Guy didn't do Hera while he was up there. It was on the way, basically.
I'm not sure. Maybe he just wants to group it in with hopefully doing it at the same time as T-Rock. He's going for the great finishing time. Just mirroring right in front of GT, going in and clearing that. Gonzspor, unfortunately, not having the money for digging game.
Oh goodness, I just realized we are a medallion and a sword away from Turtle Rock. We already have all the items needed inside.
I'd say early T-Rock is kind of unpleasant, but I think they've gotten enough health and armor at this point. It's probably relatively safe to go into.
Just have to ask, how comfortable are you with Hammer Trinex to these runners? Have you been practicing that? You're in this tournament, right?
Yeah, a bit. We'll say I've had to do it, but yeah, that is a little bit dangerous because it is really easy to run out of magic in that fight.
We do have 2 bottles. They can fill up if they really need to.
That's an additional time to take the detour over there, though, just to ensure. But it's probably better than having to leave T-Rock. Well, not leave T-Rock, but redo the fight. All right, Skullwoods. I'm curious if he's going to kill the moth. No, he can't. No sword. What am I talking about? Ignore me.
We are watching chat. We haven't seen any super big questions.
Gonzspor acquired a sword at, I'm guessing, Sea House.
So Gonzspor checked a few places that gameguy has checked, and gameguy is just, it's the ordering. Neither of them are really ahead at this point.
Gameguy is earning a little bit of time here just by having the boots to run around with.
Yeah. That's on the order of minutes, not much more than that, honestly. This, as far as I can tell, is the only thing that the boomerang has above the hook shots, in that the boomerang can stun Gibdos, and the hook shot cannot.
That's the reason I prefer the boomerang myself here. If I see one, I'll usually pick it up if I haven't done Skullwood yet.
Very, very close to death there.
Also, clearly the answer is French toast.
There are definitely times when that answer changes for me, but I think French toast is the answer most of the time. I think gameguy forgot that he had a fairy.
Yeah, that's a little bit curious. Like, I can definitely understand why he's taking the intentional death, but... Might have been a bit faster just to open the bottle and pick up the fairy.
So with the equipment Gonzspor has right now, if he tries to do blind, that is going to be a hammer blind, which is, I think, by far the hardest way to kill that boss.
Yeah, Hammer Blind's not particularly fun, especially given that the fireballs do 1 heart of damage no matter what nail you have, so...
Yep. In comparison, gameguy is going to be able to do it with Cane of Samaria, which personally is my favorite way to kill the boss.
Gonzspor has a sword, though.
No, he doesn't. Sorry, Gonzspor has a sword?
Yeah, Gonzspor has a sword.
Did he get it? He must have gotten it in Thieves Town.
I think it's Sea House.
Well, we're about to see.
No, I'm lying. Yeah, I don't know where they... I don't actually know where they got it. Probably Thieves Town, then. You're probably right.
Well, it's not gonna matter then. They'll be doing this boss as they are used to doing it, I guess.
Was the sword in the waterfall cave?
Oh my goodness! That is a big... That's the thing we were looking for and just could not figure out. Wow. That's a big deal.
Yeah, all of a sudden that that worked out a lot better for him. Yeah, that if that is the case, that definitely makes up the time for the trip up there, because any sword is incredibly useful.
Yeah, absolutely. We just... Not having a sword, I think, is making gameguy not want to do Thieves Town. Which, I mean, I don't blame him.
I mean, Samaria blind is kind of fun.
It's not necessarily a well-known strat, though.
No, I can definitely see wanting a sword for this fight.
We had a question, what's the chance of pedestal being required? We know for a fact that the bow can't be on there. So the pedestal items that could be required are the flutes, the mirror, whatever medallions are required, and the book possibly.
Plenty of options.
We have found the ice rod. Game Guy has the ice rod.
All right, Fred Smiths. What do they have for us?
I would assume if flute was on Death Mountain, then Game Guy would have grabbed it, unless it was on the floating island.
I believe it was Floating Island.
Well, then Mirror's obviously blocking that.
Bombo's from the Breadsmiths. Making magical explosives by the looks of it.
Didn't Gonzspor... Oh, Gonzspor didn't have enough money the first time they went here.
Unfortunately, no. They were short, I think, 30 rupees.
Not a big deal. They're going to be a lot more thorough than Game Guy is, it looks like. Blind is only vulnerable to both canes, the hammer, and the sword, I believe.
Yeah, nothing else affects them. Game Guy going back for that red mail after all.
I think he was already in the area, so it sort of made sense. I think he passed the library twice going around.
So here's Gonzspor doing something that Game Guy doesn't have to do because of getting that bomb drop earlier. They're coming back into the escape.
Looks like Game Guy is going to go ahead and get his sword. I don't see any other reason why he would be up down here right now.
Yep, fake flipper round 2. I'm kind of surprised that he's not heading back up to Death Mountain. What with? Oh, is he?
Oh.
Is he?
No, he's doing ice.
Early ice. Early-ish ice, I should say.
I don't super like this play. They do need flippers eventually, so they're not actually skipping an item they won't need for the rest of the game. But if flippers is late, even a go mode item, later they might be able to go mode ice.
This is a dungeon that a lot of people like to put off as long as possible just because of how much faster it is in go mode. And unfortunately coming in here...
Go ahead.
Okay, unfortunately coming in here looking for items, that's pretty much not going to happen, so...
Also, not having a sword means that he's going to need that full magic meter in order to open up Cold Stare, and he's going to have to use Hammer to kill Cold Stare, which is not a strat that I am particularly well adept at.
Yeah, Hammer Cold Stare is terrible. All it takes is them deciding to, you know, move at one specific, like, half a second, and you just lose a ton of health.
Chat bringing up that this is probably why they got a red mail, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, if they're planning to come in here, red mail is the way to go.
So if he plans to do, since he has Cane of Samaria, if he plans to do a full clear, it actually saves time to not do the bomb jump here.
Yeah, the bomb jump is basically specifically for running straight at Cold Stare. It is fun to do, though.
Very fun.
Until you fall down the hole like 8 times. It's not so much fun.
Gonzspor taking just extra damage from everything, because everything hurts. Game guy taking every extra damage from everything. Where did Gonzspor get the extra hearts? I can't remember what Gonzspor did that Game Guy hadn't done.
I think he's just been clearing a bunch of like various. No, he's not even putting up with this room.
I don't blame him. This room is not nice.
Yeah, Game Guy had a really quick version of this room just because he had the canes. Just run up, place the block on the thing, go through the door. But if you try to do that room without killing the Gibdos, they definitely make it really annoying.
Oh right, Gonzspor did full clear thieves, and Game Guy didn't even enter it. Looks like Gonzspor is going to be finally going to Death Mountain based on what I'm seeing here.
Wait, so he found all those hearts in Blind's place then?
I think that's a good guess. The 2 extra hearts he has over 2? 2, yeah, 2 extra hearts he has over Game Guy.
I feel like there's a Persona 5 reference here. Alright, so Gonzspor is definitely going to just check everything on Death Mountain. He's got the Titans. There's no reason not to go to the Dark World. Game Guy finding a sparkly cane in ice. Not a required item, but it's a nice one to have.
And it's useful. Absolutely. It was a very brave thing he did, trying to do a bomb jump with 1.5 hearts total. Not sure if that was a move I would have made.
Alright, let's see if Gonzspor also clears or chooses to clear out Hera while they're up here. It's actually gonna be a little while before we see that.
Was it just blue cane that we've found in here so far? Blue cane and half magic?
I was gonna say there's half magic. I don't think anything else of really important note was found, no.
There's a lot of factors that probably went into why Game Guy didn't do Hera. He might have forgotten he has Hammer. He might not be comfortable with Hammer strats on Hera. It's not the easiest of bosses. He may not have been comfortable with how many hearts he had. Any number of reasons.
At risk of sounding like a broken record, Hammer Troll Dorm is terrible.
I prefer Hammer Troll Dorm to Fighter Sword Troll Dorm, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair, yeah.
But nothing is worse than Hammer cold stare.
Ooh, have to be careful now.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, hey, Barry.
Thank goodness! Come on!
Use those iframes. And
He got it! He got it!
smashes the cotton candy.
Oh, I've never seen this Dead Rock do this before.
Well, that's one crystal he doesn't have to worry about later, and it is one of the 5-6 crystals, so...
Yeah, but it looks like the play is just not going to pay off. The only way this is going to be a good thing for Game Guy, I think, is if the flippers come up soon.
It is going to be really unfortunate. To be completely fair, if flippers end up being on, like... Can they even be on... They could be on pedestal, couldn't they?
Flippers 100% could be on pedestal.
Yeah. To be completely fair, Gonzspor can just fake flippers to ice at that point, though. I don't think he'd actually ever go looking for the flippers.
So flippers are going to be required for this. The big question is whether or not Gonzspor is going to be able to go mode ice.
Oh, yeah, right, Swamp. Why? I always forget flippers actually need to go in there. I just think it's like, oh, it's hookshot and mirror. Good enough. It actually needs like 4 or 5 items to get into. If you count bombs, obviously. Not, normally you don't, but...
You're talking about for Swamp, right?
Yeah, to get in and cleared, you need mirror, hookshot, hammer, maybe bombs.
I think you end up... there are enough bomb drops in pots that you can be guaranteed that you're going to be able to do Swamp. And I think the same is true for ice.
Yeah, that's why I said bombs that really just don't count as an item, because you're going to have like a million of them anyways, usually.
Looks like Gonzspor has gotten all the items. Oh, they shot over, didn't they? Yeah, and then used boots to get over the gap again.
Yep. Alright, Fire Sword, Troll Dorm.
I don't blame them. Hammer's not the easiest strat here.
In an odd sort of way, though, it is just the fact that it takes 3 hits. And now we have Temper Tantrum Troll Dorm. Oh. Dying, like, instantly, okay. And Hamburger became a burrito. Game Guy, unfortunately, having a bit of a rough time with Moldorm here.
Gonzspor choosing to go ahead and check the basement here, which I approve. This is one of those locations, like the left side of Swamp, that if you don't check it and it ends up having something, is just a real pain to go back and check.
Yeah, it's a case of while you're already here, there's no reason to leave it. You could take it as a gamble, but it's extremely dangerous.
You think Game Guy is gonna practice hammer Moldorm later?
Perhaps. It's really unfortunate that Trolldorm's just not cooperating.
This is worse than Hammer Moldorm. This is Hammer Moldorm with no sword. So he's not able to put his sword out to stop himself from jumping off the edge.
And down he goes.
There he gets it.
You can't bombos Moldorm. He's only vulnerable to a couple of weapons.
Not only can't you bombos Moldorm, but Game Guy cannot use bombos since he has no sword.
That too, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the bosses would be so easy if we could just bombos all of them.
I don't think any of the bosses are technically vulnerable to any of the medallions. The only thing you can use any of them for is opening up ice cold stare. If I recall correctly.
They're just kind of general enemy killers or door openers.
So Game Guy choosing to use this, if he wanted, he could get out the cape and grab the wall, and it'd be good.
I think that's also one of those little known methods, though. I didn't know that myself until right near the end of the Key Sanity tournament.
It doesn't super matter though. There's a full magic refill as he saw here at the his destination. All it's going to cost is a little bit of lag frames.
Yeah.
Gonzspor looks to be having some technical difficulties. We're working on it, but as for right now, we'll continue commentating Game Guy's game.
So it looks like he's going to make his Dark World Death Mountain trip here.
I would guess he checks, assuming he hasn't already done Spiral Cave. Oh, I guess he's not. He's gonna go in the Dark World through this portal, or as opposed to from the top portal. I think this does lose a little bit of time, but I don't know that it's much.
Yeah, going in from the top, you can check and maybe open T-Rock if it is Bombos, as well as the Super Bunny chests are basically just right there without having to go up and down a couple floors maybe, depending on this trick here.
Yep.
Yeah, he gets it, so. I think it's close. Ooh.
Ooh.
Super value cave.
That's a very value cave. Let's see what Turtle Rock is. Vanilla Turtle Rock. Can't open it yet.
It's never the one you actually have unless you have all three of them.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
Game Guy's happy to see that.
Absolutely. He probably would have wanted to see that just slightly earlier than he got it. Is he gonna try to go over and do Spike Cave?
He should have enough magic using the blue cane, so...
And these bushes can have hearts. You can hope.
I believe it's specifically the ones in the cardinal directions have some chance of dropping a fairy.
And with boots, it'll probably be close, but I think he can make this.
This cave is much nicer with the... and a little shield. Is much nicer with the blue cane, because if I remember correctly, the blue cane has a more expensive startup cost for magic, but it burns it slower than the cape.
Right. I know he can get Master Sword at this point, but I feel like, based on where he is, he's probably going to be dipping into Pod.
It's a fair play at this point. Have hammer and bow. You know, I never realized in the late world there was the grass arrow there on the other side of the river from the dark world.
Oh, as a kid, that was the only way I knew how to get to the other side of the mountain. Sorry, Dark World Hyrule. He needs mirror, flutes, and medallions. That is what he's missing. All of which are able to be on the pedestal.
It would appear Gonzspor has a similar idea about coming over to Eastern and Pod.
I would make the assumption that he's gone ahead and finished Dark Death Mountain and has the flippers and the bow, based on the fact that he's gone into Eastern.
Yep,
but I'm not sure that's a
Sword.
safe assumption. Yeah, he definitely has bow. That's what he has queued up right now.
Yeah, along with Master Sword, they probably they went through the 2Ks. There's no reason not to when you're already over there.
Yep. So they don't have mirror, and there are more items in Pod, so it is a slight gamble to do Pod first. You're gambling that mirror is in Pod, essentially, so that you won't have to save and quit to go back and do Eastern Palace, or that some kind of progression is in Pod that opens up another crystal dungeon.
Or you're just hoping he never has to go into Eastern and gets dependent.
It's completely fair, but it's... Pedestal is rearing its ugly head right now, and I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, definitely. There's enough items on it that it's, or could be on it. Well, it's a good thing they came here after getting the bow, because it's bow locked.
Well, technically, logically bow locked. You can use that new potion trick that I have no idea how it works.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
I'll need to learn that soon-ish. Maybe I'll have time.
I mean, visibly, it just seems to be drink potion in prior room.
I don't know if you need to actually gain health from it, actually gain magic from it, if a red potion has a different effect than a blue potion. I know nothing about this. Apparently, if you drink a potion of some kind in this room and then walk into this room, it screws up the way the room works. So you can go to the right wall, grab it, and move and despawn the mimics on the left side of the room, causing the door to open.
Yeah, it keeps the camera in the side-scrolling mode, like the room that you drink the potion in, as opposed to the fixed view for the one-tile rooms. And if the mimics aren't actually on screen, just like most Nintendo games, it basically just treats them as they're not there, so the door will just open.
This is a trick that was recently downgraded from a major glitch to a minor glitch, meaning it is now legal to do in this tournament. That is not a glitch I have run into.
I've heard of something similar, but I've never seen or actually understood how that could happen myself.
I think Gonzspor is, at this point, hedging on...
Another sword?
I was going to say, pedestal being required.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong person. I was looking at Game Guy.
Game Guy, very happy to see that sword. Unfortunately, it means it's possible that he's not going to be going up to Waterfall anytime soon. Unless he's looking for items, which means that he might end the seed without the tempered sword, which will make Ganon significantly more difficult for him.
Especially at phase 2.
Yeah. That phase that is the bane of everyone's existence.
Alright, looks like Gonspor's taking their trip into
Palace of Darkness.
It's kind of gray at the moment.
Okay. We're down to Quake, which we know for a fact we need.
Which is unfortunate.
So we still could have Mirror, Book, Flute, or Quake on pedestal. Oh no, we know where Flute is. We already talked about the fact that we know where Flute is.
Just need the mirror for that one.
Bloomerang, while incredibly nice, not required to finish the game.
So Gonspor is going to get their tempered sword in here, which is going to make a lot of the combat really easy.
Yep. Game Guy smartly does a death warp here.
Without the fairy this time.
Yeah, this is a dungeon that you really need to route a very specific way if you don't have a mirror.
I personally can't route this dungeon with a mirror, so...
You just... Go mirror, go mirror. Like, just get out your mirror and just use it whenever you can.
That sounds about right.
Gonzspor is racing. They're just racing in PowerPoints, slide by slide, it looks like. However, with silver arrows and with silver arrows and a sword of some kind, this Helmut sword fight is not. It's probably not going to be too terribly difficult.
Yeah. Silver is basically, it's not a free fight, but it's really nice just being able to put him down in a single shot. Once the helmet's gone, of course.
Yeah.
So the good thing about having a sword here is just the ability to bounce off a bit easier.
It also increases the hitbox of your hammer, if only slightly.
Still good help either way.
Gameguy hasn't made any decisions that have been super dumb from what I can see.
Oh, that stupid beetle on Gonspor's side.
It's probably would be faster just to reload the room, because now the beetle at the top of the stairs is being annoying.
Yeah. It'd be great if you could actually throw stuff down at them, but unfortunately,
you can throw a bomb down at them.
I guess.
In fact, that's a quick kill if you are at the top of the screen. You can sit there and wait for all the little beetles to come up to you. Throw a bomb down, and the bomb will hit them all into the abyss. Gameguy finally checking this item he had since the very beginning of the game available to him.
And it's still nothing.
It continues to be nothing, yes. Yeah, you're not really meant to have the silvers for any boss except for Trinex, so it does way more damage than it's expected.
The weapons in this game just have a really weird damage system to begin with, because they're actually put into different classes that have different effects on different enemies, so... Which is why, like, the green, those walkie dude... Gorillas, come on, brain. The green gorillas in, like, Eastern get one shot by the tempered and take like 4 or 5 hits from the Master Sword. It's because it's not a flat damage doubling. Speaking of tempered, Gameguy picking up his tempered.
It's really doing anything and everything to not have to do Skullwoods. But I think that's the play at this point. I think you need to go ahead and finish Assume for Pedestal. Like, I feel like a Pedestal mirror breaks this entire game open.
Yeah, everything they check, we're getting closer to that pedestal seed, and Gonspor's done a little bit of setup for that, whereas Gameguy's entirely avoiding it. Gonspor's completed Thieves Town, has completed Eastern. All they need to do is take their Fire Rod, go to Skullwoods, and they can be set.
I think he's checking Pyramid and Catfish now.
He really does not want to go independent dungeons or complete them.
Has he played version 29 at all? This version, very much like it's, I would say, a love affair. It loves the Pendant dungeons.
Yes, I learned that in a race I had earlier.
I think I've had one seed that didn't have a required dip into a Pendant dungeon in all the seeds I've played in this version so far.
It sounds about right for this version. Alright, let's see if the Catfish has anything for us.
The question is, Gonspor has been betting on pedestals. If they continue this bet, and depending on what Catfish has, I think that's going to pay off really large. Pay off very, very well.
Catfish, please. We don't need any more big 20s. Alright, Game Guy, where are you going now?
I would guess Thieves Town at this point. There's more items in Thieves Town than there are in Skullwoods. I don't even remember if he got all the items in Skullwoods.
Well, looks like he is going for Skullwoods.
Well, it is. I guess it's the green pendant. If he does Skullwoods before going back to do Eastern Palace, he can grab Sahasrara before having to dip there.
That's fair, yeah. Well, he doesn't have to try to hammer the moth, at least.
I would well, you can't even get to Mothula without a sword, so.
Yeah, but I really wouldn't want to fight it with a fighter sword.
Right. And the fact that he has half magic means he's definitely going to be able to do, he could, if he wants to, do, fire rod strats.
Good old killing the moth with fire.
Indeed.
Here's a light source for you. Fly into it. Gonzspor going into Ice Palace.
This is one of the things that Gonspor had above Game Guy, the fact that he did not full clear this dungeon and may not need to.
But I think he's about to.
Yep.
Alright, Moss, do you feel like staying away from the walls today?
The answer to that question is always no. Moth cannot quit those walls.
That was actually a pretty decent Moss, all things considered.
I mean, red mail, take less damage from Moth and less damage from Moth beams.
Unfortunately, the spike's still doing trap damage, so...
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the Moth only actually takes, what, 4 hits from the Tempered Sword if they don't get knocked into the spikes?
Yep, and you can get a double hit if you run into him from below him at the very beginning of the fight. Which, no one knows why, but you can. I think Game Guy is on pedestal plan at this point. He's going directly to Thieves, it looks like.
I mean, he's already done Ice Palace, so...
Well, Ice Palace isn't a pendant, though.
No, I just mean that he's basically out of other places to go to.
Right.
Because he can't get into Swamp, no mirror. Can't,
And you don't have flippers.
He has flippers.
Oh, he does have flippers.
We got those on Death Mountain with a bow.
Right. Sorry, for some reason in my mind, Gonzspor was sequence breaking to do ice. Given that, it does make a lot more sense for Gonzspor to be doing ice now. It may not be an all dungeon seed. From what I recall, there was nothing required in Eastern Palace. There is nothing required in Thieves Town, and Sahasrara could have our.
Which silly location has it? The pedestal or Shalar Shlar?
Which is worse, pedestal without the book or Sahasrara?
Pedestal, always pedestal. I mean, neither of them are the worst option. They're both fun.
I think Sahasrara is way worse, because you don't have Sahasrara on the back of your mind for, like, the entirety of the seed like pedestal is.
I guess, but it is still at least a quicker check that you can do on your way to doing the pedestal, just because, obviously, green pendant.
Book might be needed to get into Desert Palace, and if so, Desert Palace could have the progression required to be able to finish the game. In this tournament, all item locations that are not dungeon items have been randomized. So that is heart pieces, rupees, bombs, and the key items like swords, weapons, anything like that. If a location is an item location, that location has been randomized. That includes what Sahasrara gives. Normally he gives boots, but he gives whatever he wants here, and the pedestal, which is what we're talking about here. Dungeon items like the map, compass, and dungeon keys have also been randomized, but only within their respective dungeons.
That's not to say there isn't a mode for, adding them to the pool, though. It's just not in this tournament. That one literally just finished.
There's modes for everything. There's a mode where keys are not unique to their dungeon, which is one of my favorites. It's retro mode.
Yeah, they just made it some mechanics much closer to Zelda 1, like shooting money at people. Alright, so at the current point, the two of them are just kind of clearing up what the other's done already. We're going to get to see Game Guy's blind fight, not with the fighter sword. Well, we were actually referencing key. I was referencing Key Sanity. That's where that one came from.
This was a healthy dungeon.
I stand by my joke I made earlier.
can't remember. Say it again. I must have blinked my ears.
I don't think ears blink. Alright, anyways. Is Game Guy going to head over to Eastern now and just...
I feel like it's the only place he can go at this point. They're in Purple Chest. Game Guy really doesn't like doing pendant dungeons based on his play here.
Luigi's Hammer Sprite is amazing. I love the sprite work that that people have managed to put into this. So many good options to play as. All right, Purple Chest, are you gonna ruin our ped seed, or?
It can't completely ruin our ped seed. Yeah, all it can do is force our runners into Turtle Rock. It looks like.
Oh, right. Neither of them's checked Agnes Cave either. I'm so used to this being part of the desert, desert group once you get access to flute and mirror type deal.
Yep. We still need, mirror for go mode. Mirror or book into mirror.
Ped has book, mirrors in desert. Well,
So
Game Guy is... Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, Game Guy's making his way up to Turtle Rock at this point.
I mean, this makes sense. I would imagine Gonzspor is probably going to go ahead and finish Skull Woods rather than doing that purple chest, based on what they finished.
Turtle Rock is just a really, really good play at this point as well. There's a bunch of items in there. You have to go through most of the rooms anyways, just because of how the dungeon's laid out. It's virtually a straight line.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Gonzspor knew that Quake was on Purple Chest, I would absolutely think they would be making a beeline for Turtle Rock. But with the information they have right now, I'm more inclined to believe that they're going to go to Skull Woods.
Yeah. After this fight with the Cotton Candy of Doom. Oh, he takes him down. Yeah, TR has a bunch of stuff in here, and they're going to have to complete it at some point anyway, so if you're looking for items, if your only other option is really committing to a blind ped pull.
Also, they're guaranteed to not need to do Mimic Cave. Even if they find Mirror, that's going to be their go mode.
I think at this point, almost anyone would come into T-Rock if they found Quake and are just looking for this one item. All right, looks like Gonzspor is going to choose to do some overworld cleanup. There's the mirror already. No, you can't put the bomb in the chest.
Well, Pet is dead, guys. Pet is dead.
T-Rock just as effective at killing pedestals as his players.
I do like this move from Game Guy, choosing to just go ahead and leave Turtle Rock, go get that flute, and finish everything else. Because he's not actually losing any time. He has to go all the way to that Turtle Rock portal to be able to get to Ganon's tower. So it really just makes sense to mirror there and go ahead and complete the game.
I mean, he'll have to go back through the front room for T-Rock, but it's really not a time loss. It's so minimal. It's just nice to be able to run through everything else, especially the fact that he's going to get to do a go mode swamp.
Yeah, I think we're at this. Well, A, we're in go mode. Good for that. But B, I think at this point it's pretty safe to say that Game Guy has a pretty sizable lead. It wasn't a lead until we found that mirror.
Yeah, and unfortunately Gonzspor is heading into Skullwoods region here. The other item was the flute, which he just picked up using said mirror. Yeah, I get the feeling we're going to see possibly a blind ped pull from Gonzspor, and it's probably not going to turn up anything.
The worst thing that can happen here is it turns up a book.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
And book was only necessary if it was locking mirror, essentially. If I'm Game Guy, I am positive I'm behind here. I dipped into 2 extra dungeons for no reason.
Definitely. Still having to finish 4 dungeons at 123. Does get to go mode them, but... On the other hand, he's going to have a pretty nice GT, probably. He's well equipped for the final dungeon.
Absolutely.
Alright, Gonzspor with the Moth. Gonna get their green pendant out of this. Unfortunately, not what they actually need to be doing at the moment, but they have no way of knowing that until they actually finish.
Honestly, Game Guy is going to need a few falls to Troll Dorm and a few falls to Ganon to get Gonzspor back in this game.
Yeah, it's a very considerable lead, and it's just going to keep getting larger unless Gonzspor just heads straight to purple chest now.
Which is pretty unlikely to do.
If I've gone and gathered all 3 pendants, I want to use them, but... Not saving and quitting, so they might be doing that.
Whether or not Gonzspor pulls ped, we will find out what it is in the
Yes.
final credits.
We're fortunate enough to see in the ending sequence what it is. What is sleeping? Oh, Gonzspor going along Northern Dark World. It's kind of randomized. You get the occasional vanilla. They need to keep it in there just for the people who prefer that flavor.
I mean, statistically, with the number of items that are in this game, like, you're more likely to have at least one item not actually randomized than you are for everything to be perfectly random.
Oh man, if Bugnet's on pedestal. The legendary weapon.
I mean, it is pretty legendary.
Can deflect magic, so...
Yeah, don't talk down about Swagnet.
So unfortunately, Game Guy not getting the Godmire. It always feels bad when you come in here and it's like, oh, I'm in go mode, and then it's like, I'm gonna put the key behind the cutscene. It's like, I hate you, dungeon.
No, he hasn't checked it. Okay. And if this is a small key, then we have a vanilla big key. Nope. We still could have a vanilla big key, but it's just not guaranteed.
Well, here comes Gonzspor with the purple chest.
Here's the thing. Purple chest isn't the mirror, it's Quake. He has to choose to go into Turtle Rock now.
Which is a lot longer check than thinking there might be something on pedestal.
Like, despite it being the right choice to go into Turtle Rock, if I'm Gonzspor, I'm probably not going there. I don't know where he's headed. He needs to save and quit.
Checking pyramid, perhaps? Meyer giving the full runaround for getting the big key. Of course.
So Mirror is locked behind Purple Chest. That's the second seed today that I've commentated where that's the case. In the last seed, Mirror was literally in Purple Chest.
So what you're saying is, I don't want you commentating my matches because it's gonna be something behind Purple Chest.
No. If I'm
Specifically
commentating your match, all you have to do is go to Purple Chest as fast as you can.
Okay, that's fair. All right, let's see what Gonzspor does with that.
Would that be insider trading?
It might be.
Or the speedrunning version of it? Cheating?
Insider randomizing. Wait, that's funny.
Unlikely. Looks like Gonzor is going to Turtle Rock. So this may be a little closer than we expected.
It is still a significant advantage for Game Guy, though. It's still going to take a lot of falls.
I am not discounting the fact that this is very much Game Guy's game to lose at this point.
Oh, we get to see the best fight in the game. This is so fun to watch after having to put up with this normally.
Yeah, this fight is awful in every other circumstance.
But with silvers, it's over really fast. Yeah, purple chest was Quake, and Mir is in one of the first 3 chests in Turtle Rock. So, and Turtle Rock being Quake in this this match, purple chest was very, very important.
On Game Guy's stream, he just beat Meyer.
Vitreous Blink too, don't worry. Except he doesn't have eyelids.
Oh, that's why there's goo all around it. He's trying to keep his eyes wet. That makes sense.
Should have gone and paid a visit to Argus. Which is what Game Guy's going to do now.
Anyway, I am ready for this Go Mode Swamp. Blink and you miss it. There is no reason to stop for anything here.
No, we did that joke already. This is a really nice dungeon to do in Go Mode, though. A lot of people will specifically avoid this just hoping to get that. This and Ice are like the 2 dungeons that if you can... if you can't possibly leave them to last, or near last.
I was about to say, I just figured out that Blue Cane was Ice, and their chat beats me to it somehow. That's weird.
They're very observant.
Very observant, yeah. They are the Borg. There are many. They have lots of information, lots of people to pull from.
Alright, so Game Guys are going to pick up this key and be able to head straight to the back. Swamp is one of the unusual dungeons where you don't actually need the big key to get to the boss, so you don't even have to take the time to look at it, or look for it.
It's just... Logically, it's just this dungeon and Skull Woods, right?
Yeah, every other dungeon has a big key door you need to get through.
The fact that you can skip the big key door in Ice Palace doesn't mean that it's not logically required.
That one's more of abusing mechanic than it is that just an item completely allows you to bypass it.
Yeah.
Still checking a couple chests on his way past. Not, I guess there's a couple little things he could pick up.
That's a chest that it's hard to skip, honestly. It takes basically no time. Like, we're talking seconds to pick up that chest, and if it's a bottle, it could mean the difference between winning the game or falling or dying to Ganon.
Could also be Butter Sword too, which is, you know, just nice to have. It's not so much for the final fight, but unfortunately this late in the game where Butter is mostly useful is kind of over and done with.
Oh, Trinex Butter is a little bit faster.
Oh yeah, you can do the, hey, speaking of Butter, you can do the version of the fight where you just run behind him.
I cannot get the timing down to do that. I just simply cannot get all the way behind Trinex for that.
So I'm not sure if I would trust that Butter Sword. It's kind of wet. I'm a much bigger fan of finding the Butter Sword in, you know, the freezer, but I think at this point, Pedestal is probably just going to be like couch cash.
We completely missed the fact that Gonzspor is essentially in go mode. All they have to do is get that flute.
And they're also going to clear T-Rock while they're up here. Can you excuse me for a moment?
Sure. Looks like we have a vanilla small key location in Turtle Rock. Gonzspor not grabbing the portal here is an interesting choice. I think they have a ferry, though. Yep. If by dream you mean nightmare, that's the nightmare scenario.
If you pick up the book off the pedestal, you have to read it afterwards. Also, sorry about that.
I think it says this is a paradox.
I believe it does, yes. It should probably just say this is a horrible troll. Oh, I see how it is.
When I see on everyone else's stream and not on mine. Hey, I wish the worst trolls on myself, not on other runners. I have yet to see or play a seed with the troll that I most want, which is either bow or hookshot in Ganon's Tower Big Chest. Those are the only required items that are able to be there, I think. I guess Kane could be there? That'd be annoying.
I mean, I guess you could have, what, boots in there if, like, the bow or hookshot is locked in desert?
Yeah, but, oh, yeah, you could have... If hookshot's locked in desert and, Swamp Palace, and I think Ice Palace too are both pendants, because I'm pretty sure Ice Palace requires hookshot to be able to full clear.
That's, yeah. That sounds about right. So this race might actually be a bit closer than it looks at the moment. We don't actually have access to Gonspor's timer, so given that he has been having his frame drop here, it might be a little bit tighter than it actually looks on stream. Oh, you can't trust what the uncle tells you. The uncle's mean. He says he'll race you to the castle, and then he doesn't even let you get out of bed first.
I think my favorite thing that Uncle says is goodbye forever.
Wow, that one's a bit morbid. It's also not necessarily true either, because he shows back up at the end anyways.
It does. It's just funny. So unlike Gonspor, Game Guy is going to be able to skip. Huh? Did Gonspor know where Flute was? Because he didn't do Go Mode Turtle Rock.
Did he pick up Flute on the way out? I think he did.
Yeah, he did. He's
Okay.
turning it on now. But the thing is, he didn't steal the key. He could have skipped Laser Bridge like Game Guy's about to do.
It might have just been a bit of an impulse where you just kind of grab it because you're used to picking stuff up.
Perfectly reasonable.
The next race coming up is at 1:30 over on Speed Gaming.
Sorry, Kronos, you need to be permitted for that. On this channel.
Oh, are you commentating that one too?
Oh, well, the next race, the one at 1:30? Yeah, I am.
You have a busy night.
Yep.
Alright, Game Guy finishes off Trinex and he'll be heading over to Ganon's Tower. Which means...
It means we have a guessing game to do. There are 22 locations in Ganon's Tower. The Ganon's Tower Big Key is in one of them. What do you think it is? My money's on 17.
I want to go with... I don't know. I'll say 2.
2. So the meta route puts 17 as the last chest in the tower, basically. The third chest behind Armos Knights. Let's see where Game Guy goes. One and 2 leading to nothing, including no small key. So it looks like Game Guy is going to be doing full meta.
The real reason I guess low values, so I don't have to, you know, have this build up to it. It's just like, is it here? No, okay. I lose.
Ghost Watcher, I saw that. You can't just increase your bet as yours goes by.
That's not how this works. picking up the bug net in this room here.
There's 7 is nothing.
Does this room even have a nickname? I guess not. I guess it's just that room with 4 chests.
Yep. I think it's called the Stalfos room.
That would make sense. You know, I've never seen the big key in that fire snake room. Not once.
Oh, I have. I think in my tournament seat it was there.
Fair enough. I guess I just have bad luck with races that I watch. I don't know how I've not seen it, to be completely fair. I've watched enough. It's just every one I pick, it's nope, somewhere else.
So we have 13 chests with nothing so far. Gamer guy playing Ring Around the Rosie around that portal.
I mean, you're near the end of the game. It's a little bit of a good reason to get excited.
Yeah, I mean, these are the nerves. Gamer guy notes that the person who he's playing hasn't... You don't get second guesses. Notes that his opponent hasn't finished, and he finished 2 extra dungeons to do this seed. He's got to be thinking, like, it's going to be very close.
Yeah, anytime you get to GT and your opponent hasn't already finished, you start to get really, really nervous. I myself have a terrible tendency to completely forget how to play the game once I hit like this stage. Just start smashing my face into everything.
Yep. So we have tile room and the end of right side left.
5 chests. All right, Gonzspor's finished up Meyer.
$21.
Narrowly avoiding tile room.
Narrowly avoiding tile room. Dark Magician strats save a lot of time here. If you're not familiar, Dark Magician strats are you go to the Stalfos room, clear out that, you're guaranteed to have a key by that point, and then you go right side. I believe it's basically anti-meta strats, because on the meta route, which is what Gamer Guy did, it gets to the end faster and it gets to the right side faster.
It's definitely one of the unusual... I can understand the logic for it. I believe the whole point of it is it's the most chests in the shortest time period, is the reasoning.
Yeah, there's a slightly smaller downtime. No, that's not right.
I think it has the disadvantage though that if it's on the left side, it is going to take longer. But it's just the statistically highest chance of getting a big key.
Yeah, you get. Oh, he's game guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think gamer guy is someone else.
You got a potion. You need to use it, man.
Yeah, those beamos are not being friendly. Sword beams, please. I mean, you're not wrong, Twilight. Alright, not going with the silvers for landmolls 2 and just cutting, or, well, I guess buttering them. These are some of my favorite rooms here. After playing the first Zelda, seeing Wizrobes just getting blown up like this is fantastic.
Absolutely. Like, when I have sword beams, generally speaking, I tend to want to take a heart of damage just so I don't have them anymore, because they're so annoying.
If I remember correctly, no matter what sword you have, they do fighter damage, so...
Yeah.
Game guy taking a little pause here to ensure that he doesn't accidentally despawn the rest of GT. I've only seen that happen once in a race, and it was really, really unfortunate.
I've seen it happen once in a race, and the person who did it still won. They were so far ahead.
I guess not so unfortunate in that case, but...
Decides not to get the full heal from the fairy. It's fair. I mean, he's just into the 9s right now.
Doesn't want sword beams again. Final chest is mushroom.
Checking that chest. I feel like he's doing that just because he knows he's being restreamed, honestly.
To be completely fair, I just do it anyways.
Oh, I skip it. If I have tempered sword and silvers, I will skip that chest every time.
It makes sense. At that point, you're really not hoping to get anything out of it. Oh, almost a triple. Geometry Wizard was pretty nice.
Wow, Gonzspor suddenly in Ganon's Tower. And it looks like they did meta strats as well, based on where they are.
Yeah, they're gonna find out that... Oh no, I might have to do tile room. Oh, never mind, it's right here. Courtesy is a half magic. We're going to get a cape out of Game Guy for fighting phase 2 here. Probably a tad overkill, but...
You don't want to die.
No.
The real question is he going to get any doubles or triples? That looks like a no.
Well, that was actually a pretty nice shot regardless, though. Bouncing off the fire bat and just putting an arrow in him anyways. Maybe not safe or efficient, but stylish.
Yep. It's a GG for Game Guy.
Conveniently also his initials. But yes, GG. That is correct, Triforce.
Well, let's see if we can get Game Guy in here. And we have Game Guy 888 in here. How are you doing? How are you feeling about after that?
1 sec. Discord's being odd for me right now. Like I can barely hear you. Alright, that's better.
Can you hear me now? Game Guy, can you hear me?
Apparently it's not better. I can't hear you still.
Oh, goodness. You may need to restart Discord. You can't hear me. It doesn't even matter.
Like, I can hear you guys, but barely.
Well, let's see if you can answer some questions. How'd you feel about that seed?
Oof. I was real unsure where the swords were most of the time.
Your opponent actually got a sword before you did. I believe they got Master Sword before you got a sword.
See, and I noticed when I got to Waterfall of Wishing, there was a sword in there. Had I not died while fake flipping, I would have had that like almost immediately, and I was not particularly happy to find that.
I mean, that's how they got the sword, yeah.
Well, I'm
yeah,
sure.
that's the first one they got, and unfortunately, we didn't even know for a little while at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the seed was fine. I saw that flute on Floating Island and was just desperately hunting for the mirror the whole time. Because I knew I would need it. Like, as soon as I had Quake, I knew flute, or not the flute, but the mirror pretty much had to be there. I had almost nowhere else to check.
Well, other than Sahasrara and Pedestal.
Yeah. I had that. I never checked Hobo. That was in the back of my mind like the whole time.
There's a red rupee, just like everything else in this seed seemed to be.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So I figured Turtle Rock was a pretty safe bet, because there can't be anything in Mimic Cave that I'd want, and I don't have the mirror anyway. Like at that point, I knew mirror was kind of go mode. In hindsight, I'm not really sure why I left Turtle Rock after getting the mirror, but
It didn't end up losing you any time, and it might have actually gained you time.
well, I found butter, so in a way, I kind of had a slight benefit going back.
Looks like it was just bombs on the pedestal.
I was wondering about the pedestal for a bit.
Yeah. So, both Thieves Town and Skull Woods completely useless.
How was Eastern? Because I never went there.
Obviously, completely useless as well. Since
Well,
you never
I'm
went
aware, but
I don't think Gonzspor found anything even remotely nice in there.
it's unfortunate. Yeah, I wasn't too thrilled about Nothing Woods and Nothing Town.
So I have to ask about that early ice play.
Honestly, it was the only place I could think to go. And unfortunately, when I went in there, I had that realization afterwards, oh crap, I don't have a sword. I don't know how to set up any of these bomb jumps without a sword.
It was just a bit of a curious decision because it was at that time still a sequence break, as you hadn't actually gone flippers at that point.
I mean, I was missing so many items. I figured if anything's going to be in there, I'd rather get it now, I guess.
That's fair.
Finding Super Bunny Cave with bow and flippers was real nice later on.
You still got through it well enough, so the cold stare fight was close.
I mean, I knew I had a fairy, so I wasn't terribly worried. I would have liked to have kept it a little longer, but
when you actually died, everyone was like, "No!" And then the fairy popped out. It's like, "Oh."
No, I wasn't panicking until after the fairy left.
But you did
I was a little disappointed because since I didn't have a sword, I couldn't use bombos at all.
Yeah.
Did take advantage of the iframes from the revive though to just smash cold stare a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Gonzspor is on Ganon.
Cool. I had to figure he wasn't that far behind me if he was behind me.
I mean, he's got gold sword and silver arrows. He's gonna have as easy a fight as you did.
No, probably. Did he pick up that red mail? I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that or not. Granted, given my cold stare fight, I'm kind of glad I did.
He did not, as far as I can tell.
No, it's still blue mail.
It just seemed very tempting to me because it was in just an easy spot. So I figured, you know, blacksmith is about as close as I'm going to get to being by the library. If I'm going to get it, I might as well do it now.
It's one of the strongest safeties, and being able to pick it up for only a few seconds of time is pretty good. It's much better than dying to one of the bosses.
Oh, yeah. Like, if I didn't pick that up, I might have died to cold stare and had some issues.
All right, Gonzspor finishing up Ganon. GG to them.
GG indeed.
And Game Guy, you were ahead for most of the race. All that was stopping us from basically saying, "Oh, Game Guy's way ahead," was the fact that we did not know where that mirror was, and that mirror being on pedestal would have put you behind.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Like, as soon as I found Quake, it's like, all right, I'm either going to Eastern and gambling hard on pedestal, or I'm going to Turtle Rock. Because that pedestal was kind of scaring me for quite a bit. especially since Book was nowhere to be found.
Gonzspor actually did all of the pendant dungeons, cleared all of them. So we were really curious if they're going to go pull it, but they decided to run down, get the purple chest, and when they saw it was Quake, they decided to take T-Rock over the pedestal.
Yeah, I'm not a real fan of Blacksmith and Purple Chest without mirror. That I've had the mirror just straight up in Purple Chest many times. This isn't that much different in this case.
We see this version seems to be continuing the proud tradition of V28 of there's always something in T-Rock.
Yeah, seems like it. Just wasn't the bow today. It was close though.
Looks like Gonspor's not on Discord, so it looks like we're probably not going to be able to get him in here unless you can message him on speedracing.net.
Unfortunately, he's not available for an interview, so we're not going to be able to get him in here.
That's fair. Is there anything else you wanted to say about this seed game, guy?
Not really anything else that hasn't been said already, I guess. Well, Go mode, mirror, and flute is kind of a weird combination.
The two navigation utility items, and you have to get one right after the other.
Pretty much.
It does have the upside of there's just a lot of locations that are required, those items require that you just don't have to check.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I've been screwed over more times than I like to admit by Graveyard Ledge, so...
I know that pain.
We all know that pain. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this stream, give our runners a follow. They are putting themselves out there by letting us restream the race. And it was a very fun race to watch, technical issues notwithstanding.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm going to give a big shout out to our tracker, BaconBacon1207, and our restreamer, The Fizz. Thank you very much for allowing this race to be restreamed. I want to give a thanks to my co-commentator.
Definite thanks for leading in quite a few positions there when I was distracted by something.
It happens. And we're probably going to watch the end credits of this, and then I feel like we're going to be done. But enjoy the end credits, and I hope you have a good night. I've been D2 Kemps.
Good night, everyone.